up a message asking me about live chat moderation settings, and it was there for me to read, and I didn't know whether the live was moving or not, so I thought I'll just say learn later and clicked on. So if you saw me just looking weirdly at the screen for a short while, it's because I was trying to read something. Yeah, the live chat thing is something that I've just been offered. So there's the way YouTube's really interesting. It's really interesting. Anyone who wants to do a YouTube channel, my recommendation is look at other people's, some people comment on how it is to run their YouTube channel, and they give you lots of information of blah blah. We won't go into that too much detail. One of the things I learnt recently, or two things I learnt recently about YouTube, can't remember what we're called, YouTube people, is a better word for it. Two really big things are happening. One, all the YouTube channels, doesn't matter how big their subscriber list is, like up to, some of them got really huge numbers, like 2 million, 2.3 million, they're not getting their algorithms out there because they're not doing shorts. So YouTube's only promoting channels that are doing lots of shorts. I would say that's because it's giving them more traffic. So, but the other side of it is, how's this, everyone? Here's cute little dogs on the other side of the river. The other side of it is all the people that talk about God are getting censored. So YouTube, you want to censor me for talking about God? Go for it. If you really want to censor us, you think you're going to win? Doubt it. No way. But there is actually some people who are going over to Rumble and Patreon and stuff, because they're literally, these people got really big followers, so they're the big fish, right? And they're doing some good work. And they're getting, it's called shadow banned, I think. Sorry, dogs nearly ran me and they're both wet. It's awful what's happening, but it's the devil trying to, it doesn't want the darkness to be illuminated. So, as all of us who are really spiritual know, there's been a spiritual war at play for a very, very, very long time. God's already won. The light's already won. And what's been happening is the darkness has been illuminated. Seriously so, as many of you know, with the C-19 tyranny that occurred, that everyone, all those people thought, yep, we've got it. Tyranny's winning. Woohoo! And they showed their ace cards. They showed all of them because they thought that they had won. No, you haven't. And then because I showed everything, they had nowhere to hide. They were exposed. So darkness has been illuminated, darkness has been exposed. So on every level, where there's 3D limitation, demonic limitation, that's all been exposed in every level, in every sector. All the corruption, all the lack of transparency, all the inhumanity, all of that demonic stuff has been exposed. But in the explosion, if you like that word, in the exposure, a lot of damage, it's like the devil's dying, the devil's going out. And all demonic entities, energies, systems are all going out, but they're trying to do as much damage as they can as they go out. So, when someone's drowning and a lifesaver tries to save them, and the lifesaver's taught, even if that person's drowning, if they're trying to pull you under, you have to let them drown. Because they try to drown you and you're trying to save them, then you both die. So that's what's happening with these demonic forces. They're trying to do as much, they're clamouring, they're drowning, and they're clamouring, just climbing under a tree. They're clamouring with their last little bit of vestige of, pretend false grandeur of illusions that they're going to survive. Last bit of pretend power that they've thought that they were, their whole reputation and their whole personality and their whole culture, whatever. It's just all based on this sense of domination, power, control, limitation, lack of transparency, rah. Those people doing as much damage as they can before they go out. And that's the tragedy of what we're all in right now. And that's why you're seeing so many people struggling. Like, on a mass scale, people can't afford the basics. They can't afford food or petrol, or people can't afford heating. They're going cold in winter. People are homeless. People can't afford. It's just there's a really, and we've got a huge. I'm not going to go there on that topic. That's too big. We'll go there another time. Anyways, so there's a lot of suffering happening right now. A lot of people are having it really hard, but in that suffering, communities are coming together. People are being really helpful and supportive of each other. New systems are getting created. The light is coming through. Light is coming through as it always was going to. It's got a space to come through now. And on a really esoteric level, and I'm not going to go into detail about this now. I've got more information on this, but not going to go into detail about it. But on an esoterical level, light bearers, light workers and light bearers, I can't remember the full story, so I'm not going to explain this well, but there is an opening now that was never there before. So there was actually like a demonic protection shield. I can explain more about this later, peoples, and give you the links and the right words, but just for now, because I'm just walking along the river, okay, just for now, please just accept this very brief, bastardized, uncouth description, please. Just accept it, and we can keep discussing it in detail more. And I have discussed it before, and there's many other people discussing it with way more eloquence than me. So, with the portals being opened, with the shields coming down, I think it was 2022. No, it was 2019, but it's going to end in 2015. Anyways, 225. Sorry, but basically, there was think of it as like a demonic shield, like a demonic barrier, like a protection barrier. And so there are a lot of, but it wasn't just that, it's actually more than that. It's actually a really complex topic. Basically, the demonic entities had the realm, had earth, and free will for all humans, and so demonic had the world as Satan had the world as playground, basically. And a lot of light workers and a lot of light bearers and earth angels and angelic forces, they didn't have free access, limited access, but more so than that, they knew that this time had to come. They all knew that the time would come when they could just come in free reign. Which is what happened 2 years ago, which is why there's so much healing happening in the world, because the world is inundated with a higher frequency. There's actually a higher frequency on planet Earth, because the light workers, the light bearers, all the people with a higher frequency within their DNA are able to resonate with all these different other energies, not energies, but let's just call them, they're not earth angels. They're it's so hard to explain, but we'll call them light bearers, light workers and light bearers, because that's light bearers. So basically, all this light, high frequency energy was able to come in to planet Earth. Don't know about the other planets or the other universes. Yes, the world is amazing, right? And the universes are amazing. But because of this, everyone that was already an earth angel or a light worker, or already was embodying the fruits of God, or already was a person living within high frequency, we all received what you call downloads. We all got completely activated. We got rebooted, reformatted, trained, pushed to go forward, to be warriors. And that's why so many of us are being so brave and stepping up and speaking our voice. And you'll see so many things using telecommunication, which is a frequency, to get the word of light and love and positivity to beat the demons. Because I've always known my place, my life journey was to create peace and love on this planet. Like since I was really young, I knew that I had a part to play in creating a peaceful world. Like I had a role somewhere, and I didn't know what that role was, but I knew that I was destined to do something for God to help heal the world and to help get the evil out of the world. Now, it's not just going to be a YouTube channel, of course, there's way more. This is just the beginning. But this, however, this YouTube channel is the beginning of me honouring my God's calling, me honouring being a light worker and an earth angel. And look at the river, how it's dried up. See, that was all full of water last week, do you remember? Because it's so sandy here, and it sinks. And then when it rains, it fills up. It's really fascinating. I hope you enjoy these walks, because that was all underwater just like last week, and now look at it. Quite amazing. So anyways, that's the frequency level. I've talked about that before. We'll talk about it again when my library is up and running, when I've got my computer up and running, when I'm in my full study mode, when I'm in my full activation of the owl, the wise owl type energy. Boom, bring it on. We're going big places. Like, this is exciting. I'm excited because it's so close. It's so close. I'm so excited. And I just wanted to talk about God's blessings. I know I just went, just trying to see if I can, with the frequency, the light frequency is coming, the portal's been open, and all this high frequency energy being able to finally get through into planet Earth. It hasn't just activated the people here already on Earth. It's actually also allowed celestial beings to come without having to fight for their life. So, before that, with that protection, that demonic force field, it wasn't as safe, or it was incredibly dangerous. Don't know enough about that to talk about that enough right now, but I'll relearn it and link us all to the sites of people that know it so well. So basically, this portal got open, which allowed the spiritual warfare to completely, finally, I think it's been something like 10,000 years, or it was a really long time. Maybe it was longer. I can't remember the time frame, sorry, but we're talking about a really long time. So humans have been under a really low density demonic rule for a very, very, very long time, like many, 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 many centuries. So, because I said 10,000, but that's not what I meant to say. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years here, which 10,000 years. I'm really bad at maths. So basically, it's a really long time, okay? We're talking about human life on planet Earth. What we know as normal is not normal. What humans have experienced is not what God ever intended, ever, for humans. So God's obviously been ever patient, ever suffering, but just also remember that time for God is different for time for us, and we are souls. So I was learning a lot about the soul, the Holy Trinity, the spirit, the soul, and the I won't go into that right now. Spirit, the soul, and the mind. And I was learning a lot about what they all actually mean. And the spirit, we won't go into that today. It's such a beautiful topic. We'll go into that another time. I'll be a bit more prepared for that. I'm sure you all know so much about this anyways. And isn't it a beautiful topic? Just like this is beautiful. Zenabina, come on. Well done, darling. She's just over there. I don't know if you can see her there. So basically, what's happening is God's blessings abound and love surrounds for those from a place of free will who surrender. So it's in that place of free will. So God gives everyone free will. There are times when God and angels intervene. We all know this. They intervene on a regular basis to keep us alive when we're unaware of something and we don't know how to do it. So they will intervene to keep us alive if it's a life-death situation. Apart from that, and God is always, doing things. God's got this amazing plan, something that we can't even comprehend with our human brain, and we've all got a part to play in it. And God's hanging out for when we're ready to step up into our part. And then when we step up into our part, it's like boom, 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 blessings abound. Boom, boom, boom. It's like woo, and we're all working together in this really beautiful symbiotic manner. It's like, seriously, I won't go into that topic just yet. You're on this track, sorry. Blessings abound, love surrounds when we surrender in free will. It's got to be from free will, of course. We have to really go, yep, this is what I choose. This is my calling. I surrender to you, God, thank you. And then in that surrender process, it's really amazing. The peace that you get, the peace that you feel, the abundance, the prosperity, and by that I mean energetic and mental health. And prosperity and abundance is, see, so many people think of prosperity and abundance is about physical things because they've got this real 3D limited viewpoint of life. Abundance and prosperity is actually, having all and everything that you need, deserve, and desire, which is health, joy, love, inspiration, feelings of enlightenment. It's got nothing to do with money. Money is such a small part of abundance and prosperity, and so many people get so caught up in that and think that's all it is. And you just look at them and think, oh, if only you knew what true abundance and true prosperity really is. Anyways, that gets talked about so much in the Bible, so we all know about that. Money itself is just an energy tool. It's just a form. Like people used to exchange in shells, shells was their exchange. Beautiful little cute little shells. There's this one macabre, horrible tribe that does transactions with chopped off hands. That's evil. So, bartering with livestock, energy, services. So we can all survive without money. None of us, the world does not need money. It's just one tiny little form of transaction. Abundance and prosperity is one of the most amazing blessings that we get from God when we surrender completely. And I've been having a lot of people ask me lately, Nadina, you're just so different now. You're so peaceful now. Just blah, blah, they say all these different words and they're incredulous. They say you're so amazing, everything you've had to survive and how you are and what you are and just everything about you. It's truly amazing. Some people say, how'd you get there? And other people just go, just acknowledge it, just full stop acknowledge it. And I have been saying to everyone from the beginning, it's surrender to God. And I've been having this ongoing conversation with two people in particular where they're struggling. They keep going, yeah, I know about surrendering to God. And just by them going, yeah, I know about, I said to a friend last night, just like going, yeah, I know. Already they've blocked it. Feel the energy? Yeah, I know. It's like shot down, not accepting that, boom. And then you go, well, where can I go with this conversation with this person? Because they're not listening, they're not in their body. I was speaking to two of my really good friends about the process of being tired, about you can just see how simple the switch is because it was actually just one morning. I haven't been writing, but it literally was one morning, but it was actually the following day or two that I shared it at Bible study, that switch. Literally it was one morning. I woke up one morning feeling a certain way, just feeling that feeling of, which it's almost hard to even remember that feeling now. Whoa, Alvin, look, poor little Zena got knocked right over. Zena, get up. But the thing is, he ran in front of me look, she's all muddy now. He ran in front of me so hard, pummeled her, he nearly knocked my legs out. That was outrageous. That was outrageous, Alvin. He pummels her and she goes for his cheek. So he's got all these little bite marks in his cheek. It's awful. Like you pat him and he's got he's not been chopped up or massacred or anything. Don't worry about that. But he's like, it's awful because she's really feisty. But he goes pummels and she gets rolled. And I don't know if you can see this. Slowly starting to get balanced out with weight, with their weights. I'm not so worried about her legs and back getting hurt. Now, I had to really watch it when she was a little pup, but she's getting strong now. She's getting really buffy and strong. They're really healthy. They're really healthy. Let's go back to prosperity and abundance for a minute. I'm not going to talk about that peace thing just yet. just going to do a segue. My dogs, for example. So many of you know that I couldn't feed them. They were starving. I was starving and they were starving. Life was just ridiculous, okay? It was really ridiculous. And I was like, I have to adopt my dogs out because I can't feed them. And I was like, okay, I adopt my dogs out, then there's nothing for me. I'm done. That's it. I'm gone. I adopt my dogs out, and then that's it. I'm out of this life. That's it. If I've got to let my dogs go, that's it. Boom. That's it. I'm done. So I thought, I've been in a situation so many times where I've had financial prosperity and I've been in a place of material abundance, and I have been extremely generous with my fundage. Extremely generous. And it's an easy thing to do. Money is an easy thing to give. Offering food when you have enough is an easy thing to do. These are really easy things to do. And I've done it most of my life. So at times when I've needed help and support, and I was talking to my friend about it, it's so funny. It's not funny at all, it's terrible. What we're talking in depth about, we've talked about quite a few times in depth about the process of receiving versus giving. So a lot of people find it easy to give because they've got a sense of pride about, oh, I'm helping you out, and other people give, please accept it, please, I'd love, I've got so much and you need, here, let me reduce your burden. Some people do it from cockiness and, oh, look at me, I can give, and that's demonic. That's not true generosity. Other people are like, please, I've got, please. And actually some of the most generous people are the people that don't have very much. I've also been in this situation. I've given the last of my money to someone and gone without money for a week and a half because she had 2 teenager kids and I was just a single woman. So there's plenty of us that have done that. Plenty of us that have just given they're chasing ducks. Careful, Zena, I don't think they'll catch them. They're running so fast, it's amazing. I won't be able to, can you? Amazing how fast they can run. So the most generous person is usually the homeless person on the street because they know what it's like to have nothing. But also the generous people are the people who have had nothing, built up, got something. And I don't know if this is actually appropriate or not to share this. My neighbour has had a time of lack, a time of not having enough. And when she realised just how in lack I was on a financial level, on a 3D materialistic level, and she had an abundance of everything she needed, she really wanted to offer me everything that I needed. And she said to me, I have been where you are, and right now I have so much I can give you. And when I give it to you, it's of no consequence. It doesn't impact me in the negative whatsoever. And I know you're going to pay me back. So you let me know what you need. I'm here for you. But she explained it really nicely by saying, I know where you're at. I've been there. And I do that with people now too. And we talked about that give-receive thing of how hard, how ashamed people feel when they have to receive financial support or money. Like, why feel shame that you're going through a time of hardship, and why not feel shame when you're in a time of financial prosperity and you're offering to someone else who's having a time of hardship? Because there's the wheels of fortune, up and down. Life changes all the time. Seriously, like, how's my life, everyone? I once owned 3 houses, 3 mortgages on 3 houses, and they were all worth $1 million each. They all went up to $1 million each. So, how does someone go from owning so many properties to then living in a car with their child, their teenage son who's in year 11, and then going, okay, well, I'm going to have to... That was actually when I first broke, like really broke, everyone. That was actually one of the hardest times in my life, going, if I had done everything completely differently, I would have had a house outright for me and my 3 kids. But because I trusted my ex-husband completely and utterly, 100% trusted him, and I really believed he'd do the right thing, my kids and I end up with nothing, pretty much with nothing, because he met a woman who was very selfish, very greedy, and she just felt like she should get it all, and she wanted him to disown our kids and pretend that he didn't have a life before he met her. So he broke my kids' hearts. He put me and my 3 children in absolute abject poverty. But I did it, and that's why my kids for years were so angry with me. How could you let that happen, Mum? Why didn't you go to court? Why didn't you fight for what was rightfully ours? And I thought, because I thought in his heart he would do the right thing. I believed he would do the right thing. And that's one of the ways I've always been in my life. I've always firmly believed that someone said to me, oh, you're so gullible. And I realised, no, it's very trusting, because I want to believe that everyone is going to treat me the way I treat them. I want everyone to be loving and kind and generous and trustworthy. Always wanting to make sure that everyone's okay, looking out for everyone's well-being as well as our own, not taking more than you need, not deceiving, blah, 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 blah. And I've lived my life just believing everyone was going, like I used to go night clubbing, and I used to believe everyone was there to dance like me, sober. And then I found out most of those people were on drugs. Most of those people were really high on drugs. And a lot of those people were, drinking lots of alcohol as well. And the funny thing is, this is how I found out. Everyone kept coming up to me and going, oh, what drug are you on? What are you on? Tell me, I want to have what you've got. And I went, water, I'm drinking water. No, what's the drug you're on? I'm not on any drugs. I'm water. I'm not even drinking alcohol. It's the music. The music's amazing. Oh, you're just withholding your deal. And I started saying to people, what makes you think I'm on drugs? Oh, just the way you dance, your free-spiritedness, your free expression, your this, your that, rah. And I said, that's because I love the music. That's because I'm here to dance. That's because I'm a freely expressed person living life because of all the joy that life is. And then I had some people say to me, well, you know what? You could make a lot of money selling drugs. You could, rah. Because rah. So I'm not going to go. And this was actually at a time when I was working as a waitress, and most of my money was going on rent. And my kids and I were so hungry. Like, one piece of chicken had to last us 2 weeks. It was a tough time. And it was a really hard time because I had all these people saying, why aren't you asking for child support? I said, he needs to do it from his heart. He needs to work it out from his own heart to pay child support. I'm not going to go to court. I'm not going to go down that track of he needs to do it from his own heart. It took him a while. It took him about 6 or 7 or 8 months, and then he finally started to pay child support, but only because one of his friends said, what, mate, you're not paying for your kids? You're not helping your kids out? And one of his mates actually got really, I was in one of our houses that we were selling, and he finally goes, yeah, okay, we'll sell this house. Because it was taking forever to work out which house to sell. Yeah, okay, this is the one I want to sell. Okay, so I'm going down there to paint it and get it ready to put it on the market. He invites all these people over for food. Me and my 3 kids are there. And he puts on this big banquet, like with prawns. And one of my kids said to me, Mum, he's look at all that food he's putting on just for, like that. Why are you letting us go hungry when he's doing that just for a gathering of people? And I just went into our old lounge room. This is our property down in Mandurah. I went into our Hall's Head in Mandurah. I went into the lounge room, and one of the ladies came into the lounge room. I was crying. She goes, what's happening? I said, yeah, my son's right. Like, he's glutton. He's on glutton. He's a glutton, and we're starving. And I'm the mother letting my kids starve. I never stood up in my power as mother. I didn't feel like it was my right. I never wanted to tell people what to do. I always want them to work it out for themselves. And I've come to realise that we have to put in God's grace to get them to work it out for themselves, because too many people don't seem to, I'm still flabbergasted by how many people can't work out simple common sense or common courtesy or common decency or just common generosity or just common care, common respect, support of the other. Like, there's a lot of people that seem to be very self-centered, self-absorbed. And that's always broken my heart. I've never understood it. That's one of the main things that used to make me feel quite suicidal, was how selfish and self-centered so many people were, and how they couldn't just go into that place of heart prosperity and heart stance. And yeah, it's a sad topic, this one. Hang on a minute. Alvin, Zena, Alvin, Zena. I was about to go to the car And there was another car there, so that's why I turned around. Alvin, Zena, come on, quick. I've been working really hard on this lady's house. Hey, well done. Woohoo! Okay, come on. They're actually in front of me. I didn't know that. I just went on to a bit of a segue, everyone, about prosperity and giving and finances and food, and being there, done that with my son when we lost everything. I was renting a house out through a schizophrenic woman who went absolutely, a house in Claremont. I was renovating her house. She asked me to pay her $150 a week, and I was going to be renovating her house. I said, no, I'll pay you $250 a week and I'll renovate your house, but it was cash only. Nothing was going through the banks. I had all of my belongings, everything I owned from when my husband and I separated. So it was about $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 worth of furniture, because when we separated, we halved everything. And then, well, we halved the assets, not the houses. The houses is a different story. But basically what happened was she has a schizophrenic attack, and she deadlocked me out with fish defrosting on the kitchen bench, and I had a load of washing in the washing machine. I'd just gone to pick my son up from school, so I had my bag at least and my keys. And it was a really, really crazy time for me, because my phone was almost on flat. I had $10 in my account at the moment. I had to go to work either that night or the following morning. I had 3 jobs, and they all involved ironing my uniforms. I used to work in hospitality. And I come back from picking my son up from school, and the house is deadlocked. I can't get in. The mother tried to find me. She took about a month and a half to find me. She found me. She said, I'm so sorry. My daughter has schizophrenia. She's had a few attacks in her life. She's just having another one. And when she gets to these places, she just thinks everyone is the devil and this and that, rah, rah. And it was just a really hard time for me, because my son was in year 11. I had 3 really good jobs. I was having a really good life. The house I was renovating was this really cute little cottage in Claremont. It was just a really nice time. And then all of a sudden everything went really crazy. But not just that, my son and I are living out of a car. He doing year 11 exams. I had to give up my 3 jobs involved ironing my uniform. One, because I can't leave my son in a car when I'm going to work. So I set up my own business. I created an ABOUND. I set up my own business. I started cold canvassing the real estates, and then within a really short period of time, they're asking me to be an assistant manager where I started doing the training programs. And so obviously at that point, my son's schooling became harder, but we were couch sitting, couch surfing, and it was a really bizarre time of our life, because a lot of people turned around and called me a loser. They actually called me a loser, because for some reason they thought I'd deliberately created that situation. But if I'd been paying money into her account, for example, I would have had proof that I'd been paying her rent. So the police wouldn't help me get my furniture back, because she told them that it was all hers. So I had the receipts and everything. All my admin receipts and all my warranty stuff and everything was in the house. I could have proven that it was my stuff, but the police wouldn't even let me prove it. So I used to have a very bad experience and relationship with police up until I came to Northam. Coming to Northam, my whole relationship with police has completely changed, because the police in Northam have been amazing. They're like they have been some of my biggest support people, actually. It's been quite incredible. Come on. Zena, Alvin, come on. Zena, Alvin. Just so gone off topic. Blessings. I distinctly remember that time when I lost that house in Claremont, going, how can I make this work? And I set up my own business. Well done, Zena. Alvin. Come on, there is. So basically, blessings. Always looking for the blessings. Lost all my furniture, lost my home security, living in a car, lost everything. And that's when I realised, material possessions mean nothing. Seriously, all that's important is connection and friendship and love and self-respect, rah. That's when I first really started surrendering to God. When I realised all that's important in life is connection, love, our tribe, connection with love. That's the main and only. You can be homeless and have love and you're fine. You could have all these assets, be super wealthy per se and have no love. You have no prosperity, not an iota of prosperity. So that was an interesting lesson to learn back then. That was a blessing. So let's backtrack because I went down a spiel. So yeah, that was when I ended up. I was homeless and I had someone say to me, "Why don't you apply for Homes West Housing?" I said, "No. I'll be able to get a rental. I'm very self-sufficient, Someone else needs that." I said, "No, please, you deserve it, you need it, I applied, and usually the waiting list is 8 to 10 to 12 years. I got my Homes West Housing within 3 months. And that's when I said, thanks God. Wow. That is incredible. All right, okay, so here I am. I'm supposed to have lost all my belongings and they were really nice belongings, like really nice high quality furnitures and really, things I loved, okay? So set up my whole new life, and then I was looking at my life of how I get here. My kids were even saying that to me, Mum, you right now you should be in your own house you own outright. Why did you just walk away, allowing my first husband to just get away with being so selfish that me and the kids end up with nothing except for me in a Homes West house? And I said, because I wanted him to do it from his heart. I wanted him to work it out from his heart. I'm not going to use the court system to get someone, to force someone to do something. He ought to have needed and wanted to care for his children, to actually care that they were okay. And it was such a betrayal because we had such a good marriage. He was such a good dad and he was such a good husband. And we were friends for 3 years. Up until he met this woman who was so jealous of his friendship with me, because we used to go camping. Him and I and the kids used to go camping a couple of times a year, and we used to go out for dinners. She was always welcome to come with her kids as well. She was always welcome. He used to invite her. So we used to meet up and have family dinners and stuff. Well, we just had a really good friendship, and he wanted to have really good rapport with his children. And she was just like, nah, you got to get rid of her. You got to get rid of those kids, and you've got to get rid of these houses that you own with her. And at that time, the property market had slumped. So our houses that were worth $1 million, we had 3 houses that went up to the high 980s. He forced sale when they were under 500. So one of our houses we didn't even sell for, we lost so much money. All because she said, I don't want you owning houses with her, and he bought into it. He became so weak. He like this dominating. I realised she was definitely a narcissist. Well, I didn't know even what narcissists were back then, but she was controlling him to the point where he lost 1.5. Well, he lost himself $1 million. We could have come out of that with, both of us could have come out with 1.5 million, easy. We could have come out with a healthy relationship, an ongoing, long-term, really amazing co-parenting relationship. We're such good friends. He was 21, I was 23 when we got married. Seriously, we had a huge history. He loved our kids so much. They loved him. We used to go camping all the time. We only had we really didn't have very many bad memories. It's just that he wanted to go surfing. He wanted to live his single man life. And I said, well, go do it, man. Go do it. Go do your single man life. And then he was too scared to go do it. And then he met this controlling woman who already had kids. And then all of a sudden he never went travelling, never did this, never did that. And then he loses all this money, loses relationship with his first lot of kids, loses relationship with the woman that actually helped him learn so much about himself. When I met him, he didn't even know how to name emotions. He felt so lost when he met me. We were really, but he allowed that. And my kids lost respect for him. So they grew up as young teenagers not having a dad. It was just a tragedy for everyone. And I had to say to God, why? Why would you allow such a good man turn his back on his own children? And then he ended up marrying this woman, but he was begging the kids and begging me for an excuse to not even live with her or be with her. But then he ended up marrying her. Like, why? Why would you do that? He was saying to our kids, oh, did you want me to be with so-and-so? Because if you don't, I'll leave her. I'll tell her that you don't want me to be with her, and then I'll leave her. And my son said to him, if you want to leave her, you leave her. I'm not going to tell you to leave her. I'm not going to tell you what I think about her. You have to work out. But that particular son said to me, she's a nasty piece of work, Mum. Because I used to say to the kids, why don't you go visit your dad? Why don't you go hang out? He tried to turn around and say, you don't let the kids see me. I said, I'm begging them to see you. I've been constantly saying, go and visit your dad. Go visit your dad. They did not want to. They did not want to. And I'll drive you down there. Just go there for 12 minutes or 10 minutes if you want. Or even an hour. You don't have to catch the train. Rah, rah. No, Mum, I don't want to go down. So he tried to tell me that I was stopping them from visiting him. They didn't want to bar him. And then one day, one day one of my kids said to me, Mum, I'll tell you why I don't want to visit Dad. This is how that woman speaks to us about you. So we're there. She never says anything else. She's like this, like nasty, like next level nasty. She's just constantly saying nasty things about you. And he, their father, never stopped her. And then she would do all these sexual innuendos at the dinner table with all these young kids around that made my kids and her kids feel extremely uncomfortable. And he says, it's just horrible, Mum. And we're never allowed to spend any alone time with Dad. Every time we want to be alone with him, she's always hovering, or she always says, if you're going to spend time with so-and-so, then you also have to take my kids with you. And if he bought even my kids an ice cream, you bought your kid an ice cream, you got to buy my kid an ice cream as well. He never got any one-to-one time with his own kids, ever, but he allowed that. And that was so hard for my kids to see, so hard for when I first learnt how passive he'd become. I was heartbroken for the man, heartbroken. Anyways, that's a real long spiel, but that was my first major heart pain. Well, not my first, but that was a major heart pain for a long-term marriage. That was a really good marriage, and a really good friend, and a really good dad. For it to become where he became a shell of a being again, controlled by this demonic evil entity that was only damaging not just her kids, but my kids. And I'm just like, why would you go to that? After our marriage, why would you then go to that? And I've come to realise now, because a lot of men are very, 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 very weak. And if a woman is demonic and controlling and belittling and humiliating, like especially in public, like what's that word? You know, when you go, eh. And I just realised I met the woman twice actually, and just yucky energy. And one of my friends met her, really yucky energy, really dark energy. And I just think, I said to one of my friends, well, how could he have gone from me to her? Like, what on earth was he doing? And one of my friends at the time said, he didn't choose her, she chose him, because she could see that blah, 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 blah. And I went, wow, that is just a tragedy. And I do think about my first husband with such love and compassion. And sometimes I think, should I reach out, see how he's going, or say, you know, I still think of you as a friend. I still remember you fine. Our kids don't want anything to do with you. You made their teenage lives misery. You made my life as a single mum of 2 teenage boys and I had 3 teenagers that had all had their hearts broken from their dad, and they all went off the Richter. You know, we had homelessness issues. It was really hard, okay? It wasn't easy. And my kids did all had their turn at trying to blame me and say, if I'd been more assertive, back to self-love, everyone. If I'd honoured myself as a mother, I would have looked after my kiddies more. I would have actually stood up for them. But I was like, no, I want him to do it from his heart. And I kept living life going, I want people to do the right thing by their heart, like that lady in Claremont. Just wanted to work out from her own heart. You know, I could have said to the police, I need to get my admin records that are in that house, and I can prove to you that I bought that furniture. Rah, 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 rah. But I went, you know what? It's in God's hands. It's in God's hands. She will get her karma. I'm just walking on. I walked on and I created my own business. My own business led to some really good and big stuff, but it also led to me developing my confidence in my ability. It also showed me, wow, Nadina, you can do anything and everything. If you're homeless, living in a car, and you set up a business, you can do anything. So I always look at the positives. I always look, what can I get from this? What can I learn from this? Looking at the blessings. Always looking at the blessings. How can this benefit me, teach me, benefit my learning, to teach me to be a better person? And what is it that I'm supposed to learn here to be of service to the world? So I'll bring it back to the current future. Now, I'm so godly, like more godly than I was back then. So back then I was godly, but now I'm a Christian godly. So there actually is a definition, like a delineation there. There's actually something about really surrendering to God. So I talked to God a lot. I believed in God. I had communications with God, but I didn't actually surrender to God. I was always feeling like I've talked about this a lot. I had to control it. I had to orchestrate it. I had to organize it. I had to be the one to make everything happen. I had to, come up with a plan, do all the hard work. I was responsible. And the surrender process is actually going, God, how do you wish me to be today? What is the actions I've got to take today? So we're in action, but we're in action doing God's will. That's the surrender process that I've been talking to so many of my friends about. Some of them are just not getting it, and they're still having all this hardship, and they're still going things like, it's a nightmare, or the irony, or they're using really negative language. I'm feeling hot. Come on. Zena, Alvin. Hang on. Zena, Alvin. There they are. Look, woohoo! Yeah. So basically, I'm taking my client down to Perth today. We're going to get her a window from Vincent Salvage Yard, a window for her kitchen. And we're also going to go to IKEA and look at kitchen designs. It's really exciting. I've been working on a house really hard with my dear friend Brad. So Brad and I work really well together. We met working on a house in Fremantle. We're both working on some houses on property in Fremantle. And we became friends. And then we started working on his house. He helped me out work on some furniture for my house because he loves working with furniture. We actually, after a few months of being friends, decided, well, we're both 50, single, 50, blah, blah, blah. Maybe we could see if we could have a relationship. I let him know I'm not really that attracted to him, but he's really good in many ways, right? Like I was a really good person. I said, yep, let's give it a go. I let him know I was deeply in love with another, like completely and utterly in love with another. And I'll give it a go. But every other time I tried to start a relationship, I always had to end it because I was too in love with my darling, beautiful, beloved soul, my twin flame. I was so in love with my twin flame that I couldn't be in a relationship with people. So I said to him, look, the last few relationships I tried, I had to end them because I couldn't fall in love with them because I'm just so in love with this man. And then, but look, okay, let's give it a go because you've got to move on in life, maybe I'll be able to fall in love with you. We tried, and after 6 weeks I said, this is not working for me, I can't do it. I broke his heart. He told me afterwards, about 9 months afterwards, that it was me leaving him that caused him to do therapy because he said, I have lost the best woman I've ever met. And I don't want that. If I was the better man, she might not have left me, So he started to really look at a lot of his issues. But the reason why he was looking at a lot of his issues is because he and I have a friendship where we talk about everything to the nth degree. So it's the truest friendship you could ever imagine. The truest friendship. It's so authentic. We talk about anything and everything. The sexuality card's done and dusted with, so that's not an issue ever again. We work really well together. So we worked on his house we started working on his house before we commenced the relationship, and then we kept working on his house whilst we were in our relationship. And we still kept working on his house even after the relationship finished. Then we started working on my twin flame love's home because my twin flame love had told me at that time, he'd just bought himself a house and he told me it's too vanilla. I said, is this you? Is this, wow, this your first ever home? Is this it? Is this your personality? Is this something I've never, and he goes, no, this is not me at all. This is vanilla. I don't like it. I said, well, do you want me to help you? do you want me to help? Oops. I'll ring that. I was saying, do you want me to, you've seen what I can do. Do you want me to help you make it more to your style? He goes, yes, please. So we started looking at wallpapers and, tiles and this and that, rah, rah. And I said, look, I've got this really lovely friend who's an amazing woodman who can do anything and everything. So my friend Brad and I started working on the love of my life's house. But at that time, we were just what you call friends with benefits. And he was always telling me, we're not a couple, we're never going to be a couple. I said, yeah, whatever, look, so be it. Like, it's just I've had to accept that so long ago. I've had to accept this. I just had to accept I'm going to always love you, and it's always going to be a pain in my heart. But, I still want you to have a nice home. I still want you to have an amazing life. And I love hanging around you as a friend. And it's just how it has to be type thing. And so be it, So the three of us are working on the house, mainly Brad and I, of course. And I do so much work too when Brad's not there. And it was actually a really quite an incredible experience because it was, Alvin, Zena, Alvin, Zena, Alvin, Zena, Alvin, Zena, come on. Basically to synopsise it, C19 kicking in. He said life's too short to stop piddly waffling around. He goes, I'm going to be brave, I'm going to be courageous. That's it, we're doing it. We're going to do it. You've been wanting to get a camper van for so long and you want to do some travelling and yeah, you want me to commit to you and this and that, rah, rah. Woohoo, that's it. It's happening. It's happening. And I was like in heaven. I was in heaven. I'm like, whoa, yay! Oh, this is so exciting, yeah. Oh, I didn't know in 1,000 years this would become reality, and here it is. It's my reality, and it felt like the biggest blessing from God. So yeah, Brad and I worked on Anthony, my darling twin flames home, and then from that, Anthony decides he wants to commit to me. And he goes, I've always wanted to live in the bush, as you know, but I can't do it on my own. So, but with you, I can. Let's start looking at some country properties, rah, rah. And then we start looking at country properties. And then Brad and I have been working on this beautiful home up in Northern. Alvin, Zena. And now I'm able to say to people, Alvin. Now I'm able to say to people, I've got this guy that I work with really well, and we can get so much more done on your house. Well, there's so much I can do, but you combine me with my beautiful friend Brad, boom, we're like a power duo. He's got all the tools, every tool you could ever imagine. He's got an amazing skill set. I've got the artistic ability, I've got the detail orientation, I've got really resourceful, I know how to recycle, this and that, rah, rah. So basically, I'm really focused on OHS and this and that, rah, rah. Basically, my client who I work with at Bakers Hill, now Mr. Brad and I are working on her house, and we have been doing so much work on her house for days now. We're getting so much done. It's so exciting. It's so beautiful. And this beautiful lady is getting everything that she's wanted and done for 10, 15 plus years is actually happening. It's so exciting. And then I get to do things like, let's go look for a beautiful second-hand window. So I get to help her choose a beautiful window for her kitchen, and Brad and I are going to put it in for her. I could never put a window in on my own. Just can't. It's not my skill set. I do heaps of other things, landscaping, painting. Anyways, it's so exciting, everyone. So just walking back to the car now. There was a few cars, they're gone now. So now I'm going to go back, put the little dogs. I'm going to get the dogs, where is he gone? Yeah, there he is. I'm going to get them some marrow bones and head down to Perth, show my client Vincent Salvage Yard. We're going to get her a back door as well. It's going to be really nice. Go to IKEA, look at kitchen designs. How exciting. Yeehaw. It's just such a blessing, surrendering. And she surrenders. She can't visualise. She can't visualise hardly anything what I tell her, but you know what she does? She trusts me. She goes, you're the expert. And every time I come up with an idea for her, she goes, oh, that. The amount of times I look at her kitchen window, for example, I said, I really believe this kitchen will just pop if we got a bigger window here. And she goes, oh. I went, yeah, can you see it? Can you visualise? She goes, well, so she doesn't visualise it initially, but then when I show her some ideas or tell her some ideas, she starts to think about it. And yes, she then does visualise it. But I said, let's take that wall. I said, I did a preempt thing first. I said, if we take that wall out, this and blah, 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 it's actually going to be more expensive because I found all this termite damage in her property. And really interesting, by the way, I was sanding and plastering the end room to paint it, and there was these little brown dots coming through the plaster, little tiny brown dots, and I thought they might be rust marks. Most people, 99% of people, and Brad said he would have done it himself, most people would have just painted over it. But something weird about that. So I started sanding into the little brown hole, and it became a bigger hole. And then it showed that there was major, just absolutely major termite damage in that whole wall, all the way along that wall and all up into the ceiling. So what we've done now is we've taken that wall out, we've put a manhole in that room, which is what I was doing yesterday. Quickly end on this. Did a manhole yesterday in that room so that we can get into the ceiling. And then I'm cutting the manhole into the ceiling, and Carolie's going, my beautiful client's going, oh, just be careful with wire electricity. Brad says, no, it's okay. Everyone always puts the wires up on the roof. They never laid on the gyprock. So I'm cutting into this manhole. And then as I take the manhole out, this big electric wire is there that I'd been cutting into. But luckily, it was so loose. The gyprock saw was cutting into the wire. And you can see all the cut marks into it. But because it was so loose, it was sort of flopping around. Anyways, I saw the wire, went stone cold, and I went, oh, I could have died. I could have just cut straight through a wire. I thought, this is craziness. How easy we can die. But how crazy that the client is like, oh, you sure it's safe? Where's the wires? But I was going, no, everyone always puts the wires up against the roof line. No, they're never directly above the gyprock. Well, yes, in this house they were. And I'll tell you something else about this house. Every single thing I keep doing, I keep finding that it wasn't done well or right. And the same thing at my Northern Street, my beautiful husband's my Northern Street property. Things just weren't done right, and they were an elderly couple at this Bakers Hill place. And I was thinking, so many people do things thinking they know what they're doing, and they do not a proper job. And then you come in to try to do a job on the place, like my house in Northern, my client's house, and you keep coming up with this shoddy work. Like, people haven't done it right. You think, why don't people do things right? I don't know. It's weird. Anyways, that's what, if Brad and I do this business of working on people's homes as a team, I am going to stipulate that we check everything thoroughly. We are really thorough. We don't take shortcuts. Anyways, that's all exciting. Anyways, I didn't die yesterday, everyone. And today we're going now to, just going to take the dogs home and then and feed them. And then we're going to look for windows, doors, and IKEA kitchens, which is fun. This is all fun. This is fun. I told my client, I'm not charging you for today. You pay for my petrol. This is me as a friend, okay? So, yes, looking forward to it, everyone. God bless. I know I rambled a bit about but I think everything I said must be something that you all need to hear, because otherwise I wouldn't have gone down that topic. But yeah, the thing about people not surrendering to God, and that surrender to God process actually involves not orchestrating, not controlling, going with the flow, going with God's guidance. So praying to God, like, God, what is it that you want and need me to do today? And then you act upon the guidance, rather than thinking and knowing that we're under God's protection. So we're going to be safe. Everything's going to be well. Everything's turned out in my life. Like, I believe that Homes West experience, I renovated that Homes West house. 2. I had one Homes West house, and then they gave me a better one because they said, you're so good at renovating, you've made this house so nice, we're actually going to give you. And I was only eligible because my son had left at that point. He was 21 or something at that point. I was only eligible for a 1-bedroom at that point. And they said to me, we want to give you a really beautiful home because you've done so good on this little bodge thing. Because the property that my son and I got given was in Highgate, and it was a high level apartment, and it was, I made it really nice. It had bodgy elevators and stuff. But anyways, the point of the story is I made it really nice at a really affordable price. And when the Homes West people, hey darling, come on. Oh, there's another dog here. Okay, in you get, quick. Zena, come on. There's little Alvin getting in. Zena, quick. There's another little dog. Come on, Zena, hurry up, quick. This will be a test. Zena. All right, she's being naughty, hang on. Zena, come on. Oh, that's naughty. Oh, well, she is 7 months. Everyone, stay in there. Alvin, you're doing great. Thank you. He came straight away. Zena, come on, quick. Come on. Hurry up, quick. Come on, quick. Zena, come on. This is always the test when there's another dog. Zena, quick. All right, she's ignoring me. That's annoying. Oh, there's another person there. Anyway, now what's happening is there's an old man there picking up rubbish. He's so cute. There's an old man there picking up rubbish with a dead dog with one leg. That is of service to society. That's amazing. So I'll just wrap up on this. I have experienced owning really expensive, nice properties. I've experienced living in Homes West housing. I've experienced homelessness. I've experienced having so much money I never had to worry about what anything cost, and so much money I could just give a stranger $500. Well done, Zena. Woohoo! Yeah! Come on, stay. This will be a trick. Hang on, stay. Come on, quick. Come on. Zena, come on. I don't want Alvin jumping out. Zena, quick. Zena, come on. Look at her. Can you see her? Come on, quick. Come on, hurry up. Alvin used to do this. Always when there's another dog, hey, temptation. Come on. All right, now she's, come on. Hurry up. Come on, quick. Stay in the car, Alvin. In, quick. Come on, Zena, hurry up, quick. There she is. In the car, quick. Thank you, darling. Oh, gosh. So anyways, yep, experienced the full gamut of everything, really. The full gamut. I don't know what experience I haven't yet experienced, really. It's quite interesting. So that, I believe, helped put me in the position that I think God wants me to be in, of counsellor. I think I got told a long time ago. That God wants to help me teach the world. So there you go. You can teach the world when you have lived experience. Anyways, my loves, God bless and keep well. And so for example, all this extra work I'm doing at Carolee's at my client's house, I would only work for her 1 day a week, maybe 2 days a week, right? But because I'm Brad's TA, I've now got extra hours. So because I've got my dear friend Brad a job working on a house, I've now got extra hours. And this steering wheel, I've got a steering wheel issue going on. And as you know, a lot of you know, I have a denture that's going to break at any second, and I've got some glasses waiting for me to pick up, and and so bring on the money, because yes, we do need money, but it's not our ruler. Anyways, God bless everyone. Mwah. Keep well. I love you so much. And I'm still going to talk about masculinity and femininity. I haven't forgotten I was going to do that discussion today. I just felt like talking to you about the blessings abound, the love surrounds, because seriously, when we go into that place of surrender, oh my gosh, that's all we receive is blessings and abundance. It's true, and peace. So please work on going deep. Do your shadow work. Do not be scared of it. Get your support networks in place. Go deep into releasing your ego and go into the surrender to God in full trust and faith, and then from that what we're meant to be experiencing, and then by that we lift the frequency up on this planet Earth. That's what we need to do. We need to be lifting the frequency up on planet Earth, and that's what defeats the devil. That's what defeats the demonic forces, and defeats the demonic forces of people who we know in our lives, interactions, and a lot of these are family members, and that defeats the demons within us. Okay, keep well. Love you, bye. Keep well. God bless.